So as sea levels rise, and we could get up to 2 metres in the next 100 years, and we could get many, many metres beyond that if we get over this threshold with the big ice sheets. That's going to lead to a lot of disruption. Put that on top of more extremes of rainfall, that's heavy rain when it falls and longer dry spells when it's not raining. That's going to screw up food production in a lot of places, so the chance of drought, famine even, that's on the cards too if we're not careful. So this is going to lead to a lot of people being unhappy and wanting to either go somewhere else or get what somebody else has. And there's a lot of work going on in national security, defence circles about the possibility for wars breaking out over water supplies or over food supplies. So you've got this migration situation where people might want to have to move to another country and they might be short of food and water, and they see others such as perhaps New Zealand who are doing okay, they want to come here, they want to share in what we've got. Do we have a right to say no? These are some of the questions that the global community is going to have to deal with. So ultimately it could get very ugly if we allow the climate to change a lot and fast over the next 100 years or so. There could be all sorts of grief. Billions of people, their lives could be at risk, either through starvation, lack of water, or through conflict, warfare. This is something that's being considered quite seriously by the Pentagon in the US, and I know the New Zealand Defence Force here are thinking about these things. I'm sure defence forces all around the world are worried about this. So how bad could it be? It could be unimaginably bad if we don't get on top of this problem, actually. What I hope is that we do get on top of it, and the consequences are limited, but we've already had a degree of warming. We've already seen changes in the amount of rain that falls. We know that heavy rain events are now more likely in a lot of places than they used to be. And we know that droughts are more likely in a lot of places than they used to be. We know that the glaciers are melting. Big populations in Asia depend on the water that flows out of those glaciers. When they dry out, what are those millions of people going to do? There's no answer to those questions right now, and they are going to be difficult to answer. So it is really going to test international diplomacy, international relations, and just the resilience of populations to survive. And what I know is that we all want to survive. We're all going to fight for the right to feed our families and stay alive. So what worries me when I think about these problems is that it is really going to test populations. If we let the climate change much more, it could become very, very hard, and we could sink into a situation where there are wars breaking out around the world, just people fighting over water and food. And I can't imagine what that would be like, but it could be very ugly indeed, and billions of people could die through unmitigated climate change. So I think that's about as bad as it could get. The Earth will be fine. The Earth has been a lot warmer and a lot cooler, and there's been, crocodiles have swum in the Arctic Ocean sometimes. That's not a problem. The problem is we've got nearly 8 billion people on the Earth, and we've got very used to being able to grow certain crops and feed ourselves in certain ways to just keep those billions of people going. As the climate changes, that all changes. So we need to adapt to that at the very least. And if we want to avoid the worst consequences, we need to really get on top of reducing emissions to stop the climate change before it becomes unmanageable.